Episode 63, The Lightroom Show. Today we discuss photo organization and workflow using two of my favorite tools, Adobe Lightroom and Lightroom Mobile, while you are listening to episode number 63 of Mike Murphy Unplugged. Learn, create, move forward. I am your host, Mike Murphy. I'm a one-man band, I'm a technology junkie, and I love helping people figure things out, and I am really excited to be here with you today. The goal of Mike Murphy Unplugged, it's to help you learn what you need to know in order to create online content so you can move forward in business and in life. And today's non-paying sponsor is podcastertoolkit.com, our giant resource website for podcasters and content creators to learn tips, tricks, tools, and discover lots of gear and accessories. It's still being built, but good things come to those who wait. So thank you for your patience. I'm chipping away at it, but I'd still love for you to come by, pay a visit at podcastertoolkit.com. Today, in episode number 63, we're talking about photo organization and workflow using Adobe Lightroom and Lightroom Mobile. So what exactly is Adobe Lightroom and Lightroom Mobile? How much do they cost? And what is my photo organization and workflow system? And why does it help me with my online business? So what is Adobe Lightroom? Adobe Lightroom is a piece of software for Macs or PCs, and it is simply a photo editor and organizer or manager of photos and videos. It is included in the Adobe Creative Cloud bundle. It's the tool that I use to manage and edit over 40,000 photos and videos, which really is nothing for Lightroom to handle. Lightroom was officially launched in 2007, mainly to help professional photographers organize and edit large quantities of high-resolution and raw photos, quickly and proficiently. Lightroom has been a staple in most photography studios for many years because it can handle large quantities of really big files with ease and speed, so editing thousands of images from a session at a time is really only limited to how fast you can work. So if you have never heard of Lightroom before, it's really just an application. It's on my MacBook. It's similar to iPhoto on many levels if you want to think of it in that terms. And by the way, I have not used iPhoto for years, as I use Lightroom exclusively for all of my photo management. So what makes Lightroom so great and fast is that it doesn't actually import your photos. It only references them using catalogs so that you can keep your photos on any external hard drive or anywhere, so you can have easy backup and mobility, and you really just need to tell Lightroom where to look for them. Catalogs confuse most people at first, until you make the connection that Lightroom doesn't really care where you keep your photos. You just need to tell the catalog where to look. I'm not going to go way into it, but if you are experimenting with Lightroom, you also want to make sure that you get familiar with Smart Previews, which are pretty new, and this allows you to use Lightroom without needing the photos at all, which is great for traveling if you want to do editing on the road, but that's for another conversation. Big tip. Lightroom catalogs are small in size, but oh, are they important. So be sure to back them up regularly. And second tip, to get the most out of Lightroom in editing, I do suggest that you shoot in RAW format, which is what Lightroom is great for. So if you have a big boy camera like the DSLR, shoot in RAW. Lightroom also works with JPEGs, PNG files, Photoshop PSD files, and Lightroom supports video, so if you're shooting on a DSLR camera where you're doing some stills and some video, being able to import everything into one place is a great option. So let me just give you a quick visual as you're following along here. I keep all of my photos on an external hard drive, which is constantly being backed up to backblaze.com for $5 per month. Lightroom and my catalog, they stay on the main hard drive of my laptop, okay? So that is always being backed up to both Backblaze and Time Machine. So I have peace of mind for sure in this already. So when I open up Lightroom, all 40,000 plus of photos and videos are neatly organized and they're ready to be edited using the best photo editing tools used by professional photographers and editors around the world. And like all of the Adobe Creative Cloud apps, it is perfectly integrated with Photoshop and the whole ecosphere of creative apps and so much more. With a simple Command-E shortcut key, I can do some heavy lifting, editing, and manipulation inside of Photoshop. I hit save, and I'm right back into Lightroom with all my changes. Nice. So in a nutshell, what is Adobe Lightroom? Well, it's an extremely powerful yet simple photo editor and organizer that I recommend for all content creators and photo enthusiasts of all levels. And contrary to popular belief, it is not just for pro photographers. So how much does Lightroom cost? Well, Lightroom is included in the Adobe CC bundle. That's $49 per month. And this includes every tool that Apple, Hollywood, and every major brand and professional designer and creative around the world uses. The same tools. But if you're still not convinced, for $9.99, Adobe has what is called the Photographer's Bundle. That includes Lightroom, Photoshop, and Adobe Bridge for the price of Netflix. And I really can't stress how good of a deal this is. $9.99. The latest version of Photoshop alone used to be about $1,500 every time a new update came out. Lightroom was cheap at $250 when it was first introduced. So for the price of binge-watching Arrested Development, you can now have access to the best 1-2 punch in photography and creative arts. I know which option I would choose. Okay, so now you know what Adobe Lightroom is. It's a photo editor, an organizer. It's included in the Adobe Creative Cloud bundle. It's $50 per month, or as a mini bundle with Photoshop and Bridge for only $10 a month. So how do I use it in my workflow as a one-man band podcaster and content creator? And why do I think it's going to be valuable to you? Before we explore my workflow, I want to ask you just a couple of quick questions. Number one, what is the current state of your iPhone and iPad camera roll right now? I'm pretty sure I just heard a couple of groans on that first question. Number two, do you have any idea exactly how iPhoto and iCloud manages and backs up your photo library? It does manage and back up your photo library, right? And number three, how about your photo collection on your main computer, your home computer? How is that looking? You do have all of your baby and family photos and travel photos and your product photos and your website photos and business branding and social media photos all organized and back up, right? And of course, you have all of your iPhone and iPad photos synced in with all of these, right? Now, I never like to assume, but I am guessing that many of you just cringed when I asked you these three questions. Now, if you're anything like me, I could give away pretty much all of my material items and not really care about it. But losing my photo and my music collection would devastate me. With Lightroom and Lightroom Mobile, my entire photo library is organized. It is in perfect sync with my iPhone and my iPad. It's backed up to the cloud 24/7. I can edit photos on my iPhone, my iPad, my MacBook Pro, or on a public computer in an internet cafe in Mozambique, and the changes are going to update across all devices. All for the same price of watching House of Cards. So my workflow. I'm only going to scratch the surface. It's going to get pretty confusing if I was to explain all the details in audio, but before we get really into it, just know that I'm never satisfied with my workflow. I am constantly tweaking, and as technology changes, I keep finding new ways to get more and more streamlined. But I have been using Lightroom since version 1, and I can tell you that Adobe has come a long way, and Lightroom Mobile has really been a game changer, and it's getting better day by day. So here's a simple version of my workflow, and so you get an idea, I take photos every single day and videos every day with my iPhone or my GoPro or my DSLR camera for Instagram and all of my creative whatnots. I have one folder on my external drive that's called Photos. Within that one folder, I break it down by year and month. I keep travel photos organized separately by location. That's the only real difference, but the organization and the naming structure doesn't really matter to me how you do it. It just needs to make sense to you. But consolidating everything into one master folder is the key to a good photo workflow, in my opinion. To back up my entire photo library, I know all I need to do is point to that one folder or copy that one folder on a hard drive, and I know that it's all backed up. Start with this one simple move of consolidating, and I think many of you will feel a big sigh of relief. How you organize your name and your folder structures is really up to you, but I really do try to keep things really simple. I don't like to have too many folders and subfolders that I have to need to keep drilling down, because if you take just a few minutes at each import, add some keywords, Lightroom has a really powerful search engine, so you can find anything just by searching. It's pretty simple. So consistency and diligence. After every photo shoot, whether I take 5 images or 100, I dump everything into the current year and month folder. Okay, so today, if I was out taking photos, I would come back and dump everything in the 2016 November folder. Lightroom, I tell it to synchronize. It goes and looks for new photos, so anything that's changed, it just brings them right in effortlessly. I then edit, I organize, I put keepers in what's called collections. The collections is what Lightroom Mobile uses to sync my photos across all devices. So I have complete control what I see on my iPhone and my iPad, and this circle just works all together. So the desktop is the central hub. I do all the main organizing here. So I have collections for social media and Instagram, and I like to put travel photos and personal photos that I like to see on my phone. I'm working on the Podcaster Toolkit. I have a whole section there that I separate so I can have different gear pictures. Lightroom uses what is called non-destructive editing. So you can edit and resize at will without ever harming your photos. So it's pretty awesome to work this way, not knowing where things are going to go. Another thing, you never have to hit save. Everything is always done in real time. It's just really easy to work with photos. So now let's go Lightroom Mobile. Everything that I take on my iPhone automatically uploads to my main Lightroom catalog. There's a tiny delay, but everything that I take on my iPhone, whether it's on my iPhone camera or on the Lightroom camera, which has a great camera, it automatically syncs to my Lightroom catalog without doing anything. Now, Lightroom Mobile is becoming a very big part of my workflow, and Adobe is really making it easier, and they're really going all in to help mobile creatives work from coffee shops or anywhere they want on iPads and iPhones without sacrificing any editing capabilities or workflow needs. Everything that's done in the desktop, I can do on my iPhone or my iPad. Pretty cool. So if you're a photographer, a podcaster, designer, freelancer, content creator of any kind, just think about how much stuff that we create on a daily basis for Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Adobe is making it really simple to do this on the device in your pocket. And once you develop this system to organize all of your digital assets, you can just focus on creating without being overwhelmed about where's all the stuff going, because you know it's all going to one place. In summing up, Adobe Lightroom and Lightroom Mobile is what the pro photographers use, but I recommend it for anyone who makes content or who takes photos for personal or business needs. iPhoto and iCloud will do the trick if you only use your iOS device for photos, but if you have photos from multiple devices and they are all over your hard drives with no systems in place, I really encourage you to give Lightroom a test run. So there is a 30-day free trial with all the Adobe products, but if you want to purchase it, the Adobe Creative Cloud, again, is $49 per month, or the Photographer's Bundle, that's Photoshop, Bridge, and Lightroom, is only $9.99 per month. And like all of the Adobe companion apps, which are awesome, Lightroom Mobile is free and can be used on your iPhone or iPad, and the iOS device has all of the same editing features and function as the desktop version, which is mind-boggling to me. All adjustment sliders and creative effects, everything, any change I make on any device updates across all with very, very little delay. Lightroom Mobile also has a great camera, which I use all the time because I like the effect that you can use while shooting, but it doesn't shoot video, so that's something to consider. So Adobe is very serious about the mobile workflow, and Lightroom seems to be the flagship for this department. I mentioned being able to use Lightroom in any browser. Mozambique is not necessary, but Adobe, it's really adding some great web functionality to Lightroom as well. For example, if you're working with clients, you can send beautiful proofing layouts easily right from your library, or you can create really nice slideshows with text and share on social media or embed on your website. And not to mention, do full editing on your collection photos that is going to sync across all devices. All you need to do is log into a browser. So this stuff excites me because I'm inundated with photos and videos, but I'd love to hear from you. I'm always on the lookout for making tutorials and classes, and I just want to hear from you. Is this stuff driving you crazy? Is organizing your photos and learning how to manage and edit photos like the pros something that you would like me to explore more on? So just let me know. This stuff is really fun for me. So I would love your feedback on whether this is a topic that you would like me to explore more of. And just wrapping up here, the syncing is a big deal. But what really makes this all a big deal is the organization workflow. Knowing that all of your photos live in one place that is constantly being backed up is ideal. I take a lot of photos, but I don't stress about it like I did when my iPhone was a complete mess and I could never find what I needed when I needed it. So if you have an online business, if you're a content creator, podcaster, doesn't matter. If we're making content, just think about your average day. We post to Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and you need a different size for each of these channels to get the best effect. Well, Lightroom handles this with ease. In fact, you can integrate Facebook right inside of your Lightroom library. You can post right to Facebook. You can even comment and manage comments inside of Lightroom to Facebook. Make a change to the gallery, your galleries are going to update on the web in real time. This is pretty cool stuff. And as you can tell, you know I'm a fan of Adobe, and the CC products are absolutely awesome. But Lightroom is one that has a really special spot for me. So remember, if you have questions or you need help, I'm here for you. All you need to do is hit me up on social media or send me an email at mike@mikemurphy.co. And as always, I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this podcast and to welcome all those that are new to the show. If you haven't already done so, please sign up for my newsletter so I can better communicate with you. You can do so at mikemurphy.co/newsletter. And again, a reminder from our non-paying sponsor, I invite you to swing by my new project, podcastertoolkit.com, where I will be creating helpful tutorials on gear and resources for podcasters and creative entrepreneurs. Still a lot to work to be done, but I'm getting there. I thank you for joining me today. I hope you join my one-man band, and together we can learn, create, and move forward. Cheers.